everyone, Kuri here, and as promised, this video is going to be a little bit about myself. I'm going to give you my background story and history, and I'm going to tell everybody the big question that I've been getting recently in emails is, what am I doing in Japan? So I'm going to try and make this video as short as I can, but I don't know how long exactly it's going to be. It might probably be about maybe half an hour or 40 minutes, but I'll try and make things summarized as best as I could. So first we'll start off with the very beginning. So I was born in Massachusetts, born and raised Massachusetts. So I do have a Bostonian accent, which in this video I'm not really going to try and hide my accent. It's not full Bostonian, but I really don't pronounce my R's or my ing sounds. So most of my videos I really try and keep that, keep my language clear. Or my pronunciation clear, but I'm not going to try this time, so try and keep up. Anyway, so I was born and raised in Massachusetts. I was born on June 16th, 1982. My birth name is Kristen Marie Desjardins, but everybody knows me as my nickname Kuri here in Japan, in the metaphysical world, as well as the Boston Red Sox and some of my other jobs. They all know me as Kuri, so that's what I go by. I am married to a Japanese native. His name is Masanori Morita. So my name now is Kristen Morita, or Kuri Morita. But that's about my name stuff. I was born the year of the dog. I am a Gemini, and my blood type is blood type A. If you know anything about the characteristics of people who are born the year of the dog, who are blood type A, and who are Gemini, those all describe who I am. My characteristics are right on the money when it comes to explaining what type of character I am. So that's pretty much that. Now, in the video, I want to try and explain about 3 different things. I'm going to explain about my life with the horses, my life with Japanese language and Japanese, and my life with metaphysics and psychic awareness. So all of these tie in together, and I've been doing these throughout all of the years simultaneously. So there's not a year that I haven't been doing one of them, if not all of them. I'll try and be specific, but again, it kind of is very blurred, so, without going way into too much detail, I'll try and keep things as brief but to the point as possible. So we'll start off with psychic awareness and horses. So I found out when I was younger that I was, hearing and seeing ghosts, spirits, angels, fairies, you name it, and I was experiencing it. I couldn't differentiate what was a ghost and what was an angel, though I was too young. But when I would tell my parents that I saw something, or someone was in my room, or, some creepy dude was running up the hill while I was on the swing sets, my parents would just say it was your imagination. So all of my psychic abilities were kind of suppressed at a young age, and they didn't start to reawaken until I was in the end of middle school, early high school years. So that's kind of covering the first few, childhood years of psychic awareness. Now switching to the horses. So when I was 10 years old, my parents gave me the best present in the world, one of the best presents in the world. It's not a horse, unfortunately, but they were horseback riding lessons. I have been infatuated with horses ever since I was a little girl. I love horses. They are, my pride, joy, and my passion. So I was so happy to be able to take horseback riding lessons, and I did for many, many years. And I used to do competitive show jumping, and, I learned all about horses. I did, the riding, I did the horse care. I even worked at stables when I was younger as volunteer work to get extra riding time. So horses have always been a part of my life, and they always will be a part of my life. So now we're going to fast forward all the way up to the end of middle school, early high school. So we'll start back with the psychic stuff. So I started hearing things and seeing things and feeling things again when I was ending middle school, going into high school. And instead of going and telling anybody about it, I decided to do my own research. So I, read books. I went to different stores. There was actually a store in my city called Magic and Mail, and I went there to kind of look about to see different things about what this psychic stuff was, what this, why I was witnessing all of this stuff. So I really started at that age, around the end of middle school, early high school, to really find out a little bit more about psychic stuff. And throughout all of my high school year, and even after high school, I started reading books. I started attending workshops and lectures. One of the stores that I did many I went to many workshop and lectures was Circles of Wisdom in Andover, Massachusetts. Very wonderful store. It's still there. The owner, Kathy, she is a doll. She is so nice. And they have many different workshops there. But getting back onto the point, so I did a lot of research about different things. And one of the things that I really was interested in, that really got me started with looking into my ability, was paranormal investigations. Circles of Wisdom actually had a Ghost Hunting 101 lecture series by the New England Ghost Project, and they still do the ghost hunting lectures and workshops. So they really, by attending those classes, they really got me into the paranormal and, really looking into what lies beyond. So I did a lot of stuff with that, and then I started doing other workshops, and I've done workshops and lectures from aromatherapy, flower power, all the way to like palm reading, tarot cards, you name it. I've pretty much tried it and have done it. There are still many things out there that I haven't done that I'm still learning about, because there's such a wide variety of different things that you can learn about metaphysics. So if you guys have any questions about my abilities or what I can do, or if you want to know any information about different things, ask me and I may know. And if I know any information or I can do a video on it, I will. Just let me know. But anyways, so I did a lot of stuff with the psychic stuff, and I actually I had my own paranormal investigation team. I had it for a few years until I ended up leaving the group, and finally it just dismembered and dissolved away. But I had quit because I got a job with the Boston Red Sox back in 2007. So that kind of leaves you all the way up to 2007. I was doing all the psychic stuff. I was, doing animal communication, Reiki, card readings at Winnicott Castle in Haverhill, Massachusetts, at private parties, private readings. I've done a whole bunch of different things. So we'll stop at 2007. Now going back to with the horses. So I worked at stables, different stables, throughout my high school and even after my high school years. Taking a brief break from horses back in 2000 to 2001, and I'll explain why. But I worked with horses. I worked at many different stables. I've worked at many different things, such as like a breeding farm, to a carriage barn, to dressage and show jumping, and professional show jumping barns. So I have a very wide variety of different disciplines that stables that I've worked at. Now, one stable that I absolutely loved, it was the best stable that I worked at, was a stable called Night Magic Farm in Kensington, New Hampshire. And I was there for quite a few years, but then at the end of 2006, beginning of 2007, the owner decided that she didn't want to have a stable anymore. For whatever reasons were her own, she decided to close the barn. Now, before she had closed the barn, the girls that I was working with, we only had limited amount of hours that we worked in a day, and it was like 3 to 4 hours. So I was struggling to make ends meet to pay bills. So I needed to find a new job. So I ended up leaving Night Magic Farm before it closed, and I started working for the Boston Red Sox. Now, I'm going to stop with that, and now I'm going to go all the way back to high school again. So the end of middle school, beginning of high school, my older sister and I really were interested in Japanese culture, Japanese animation, Japanese music, and Japanese food. So we were really interested in Japan. So I lucked out, and when I was going into high school, my high school offered Japanese for a foreign language. So I decided I wanted to take Japanese as a foreign language, and I did so for 4 years. And then after graduating high school, my parents came to me and gave me the decision, or the choice rather, to they would either pay for my college tuition, and I'd go to a regular college, or they would pay for me to go to Japan and go to a Japanese language school. So I opted to go to Japan because it was my dream to go to Japan and live in Japan and to study Japanese. So I went to Japan, and I went to a language school called Yamasa Japanese Language Institute, and it is located in Okazaki City, Aichi Prefecture of Japan. I left in 2000, and I came back to America in 2001. While I was in Japan, it was great. I made lots of friends from all over the world, and it was just a really great experience. And it was just like, oh, I love Japan. I want to live here. But moved back to America in 2001, and then I promptly got a job up in Franconia, New Hampshire at a catalog company, or a mail order company, called Garnet Hill, which is still there. And they were looking for Japanese English customer service representatives. So I sent in my resume, and I got a job there, and I worked there for many years. Wonderful company to work for while I was there. I don't know about it now, but I learned more Japanese. I learned a polite way of speaking Japanese, and it was everything that I could have ever dreamed, except I wasn't living in Japan, which I really wanted to. But I was there for quite a few years, met wonderful people. But I decided that I wanted to pursue my education again. So I quit Garnet Hill. I moved back down to Boston, and I started going to Bunker Hill Community College, that's right in Boston, and I studied an associate's degree for world languages. Unfortunately, they had Japanese there, but unfortunately, they had Japanese as a language there. Unfortunately, my skill was too high. So I actually helped teach the Japanese class to the people who were learning Japanese. So it came to the point where I was like, well, why am I paying to actually be a teacher and to teach, students Japanese? So Bunker Hill wasn't working out for me at all, so I decided that I'd quit Bunker Hill. And then I went back to the horses, and that's when I started working at Night Magic Farm in Kensington, New Hampshire, and now leads us back to 2007. So now it's 2007, and I need to find a job. Well, back in 2007, for anybody that follows baseball or Japanese stuff, the Boston Red Sox for Major League Baseball signed 2 Japanese players, Daisuke Matsuzaka and Hideki Okajima. Now, my family and friends were saying they might need people to speak Japanese and English. Why don't you put in your resume? So I did, and I got a phone call, and I got a job with the Boston Red Sox. And I was a Japanese English Fenway Park tour guide. So I used to do the Fenway Park tours in English and Japanese. And then I would help out with any liaison work that needed to go between the Red Sox owners and the media in Japan. And I've done a couple of TV things for Japanese television. And, whenever the regular liaison wasn't there or wasn't available, I would hop in and I would help with that stuff. So it was awesome. It was a really great experience to work for the Red Sox. I was there all the way up until 2010, where I ended up quitting. And again, throughout the whole time, I'm still doing the psychic stuff. I'm still doing the paranormal stuff. And that's where it leads me to having my own team. I left my team in 2007 because the Red Sox were winning the world. We're getting into the World Series. I'm working 6 days a week, or 5-6 days a week, and things are getting really, really busy for me. So when it comes to, supporting yourself financially and paying your bills versus having a paranormal team as a hobby, your bills and your financial support is going to take priority. So I ended up leaving my team because of it, and eventually the team just disassembled and dissolved away. But that's why I quit the ghost hunting team. So I worked with the Red Sox for many years, I believe until 2010 or 2011. No, 2007, 8, 9. 2009, I think the end of the season in 2009 I left. I'm terrible with dates. But anyway, so The reason why I left the Red Sox is because I met my future husband. So, and it's kind of tied with the Red Sox. I was given a tour in Japanese to a couple of people, and this one gentleman who was living in Boston. We became friends, and he introduced me to one of his friends who was a female, and she worked as a liaison, or rather a secretary at Kaplan Language Institute in, not Harvard, in Haymarket. And she knew that I was interested in Japan and I was interested in Japanese men. So she introduced me to this one boy, Masanori. And as soon as I met him, it was instant fireworks and like lightning bolts. And I knew that he was the one. And he was my soulmate. And we hit it off. And that is how I met Masanori, a.k.a. Masa. And I quit the Red Sox to actually come to Japan. I chased after him and grabbed him, basically, because his visa was expiring. He came back to Japan. I was in America, so I wanted to go to Japan, and that's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother video. But to make a long story short, we're married, and we wanted to live and go back to Massachusetts, to America. And right now he's going and getting his PhD in mathematics, and he tried to apply to some of the schools in Boston, such as MIT, Boston University, Boston College, a couple of other schools, but unfortunately that wasn't the path that God wanted us on, and he wasn't accepted to any of the schools in America. So we're in Japan right now for him to finish up his PhD in mathematics and get his doctorate degree. So that is why, everybody, I'm here in Japan, because my husband is going to school, and we're going to be in Japan for another 3 to 4 years. This is all recent events. He's just starting to get his PhD in September. So he starts school in September. So, excuse me. So that is why I'm in Japan. Now, talking about trying to put everything back together with horses and psychic stuff. So when we came back to America, I'm sorry, we went to America for a visit, and then when we came back to Japan, because we're going to live here, I said to him, and this was a couple of years ago, I said, I need to do something with horses. We need to find a ride-in stable. You know, the horses are my life. I'm miserable without them. So, you know, God bless his soul. You know, he's online. He's looking for all different places around the Tokyo Kanto area for horseback riding, and to see if we can find myself, you know, employment at a stable. And we did find stables. There are stables in Japan. There are horses in Japan. But Japan is definitely not a horse country. So we visited some stables, and I rode at a couple stables, and there are some stables that I went to that I just looked at the horses and turned around and said, we're out of here. There have been some places that I've gone to just to check the place out, and they have made me pay to ride. And that was terrible because of the condition of the horses, but you're stuck in that situation. But anyways, so finally I found a place that looked pretty good. And I started working there, and I was there for 1 week until I said, I cannot work here. One of my psychic abilities is being empathic, and I can communicate with animals, and horses communicate with me. And what the horses would communicate and what they would say and the energy that I would get from them, it was terrible. And the horse's life in Japan, it's not a life that I am used to, and it's not a life that I accept. Horses here, and I say a trainer, but I don't say a trainer because I have yet to come across anybody who I consider to be a trainer here in Japan. We'll say an instructor. An instructor had actually told me one time when I was talking about horses, they had said that horses are not partners, they're not friends, they're not pets. Horses are a commodity and a machine, and once that commodity in the machine breaks down, ship them off to the meat factory and eat them the next day. And I was like, oh my God, just the spears that were stabbing into my gut and my heart. I was like ready to throw a fit. But anyways, so I didn't stay long at this place. I was only there for a week because of the condition of the horses, the treatment of the horses, the well-being of the horses was terrible. So I had left there. And then I found another barn that was actually closer to my house, and it's an okay barn. It's not the best, but it's the best that I've seen in Japan. But again, it's customer related. The treatment of the horses is so. If anybody who's an equestrian out there like myself, when I talk about the body weight scale, in Japan, as of yet, in the Tokyo area, Kanto area, I have never seen a horse above a high 2 on the body weight scale. Other than that, it's downhill. I don't know about northern Japan, Hokkaido, where there's more land and fields and grass and all that. I don't know. I haven't been there. I can't tell you one way or another. But here in the Tokyo area, I have never seen a horse that has looked like a horse that we have in America. So, except for like the horses that you see at like the MSPCA or the cruelty centers, or the cruelty prevention centers. But life in Japan for horses is terrible. So I was at this place and I was there for a few months, and it was okay. You know, I was riding, I was trying to take care of the horses as much as I could. But again, in Japan, everything is done by politics and very political, and they have a very, very constructed work atmosphere, meaning I'm a foreign American girl. I can't just come in and say, well, you should untack the horses if they're going to be, you know, waiting for the next ride for another 2 hours. They shouldn't have their tack on for 2 hours and try and throw them hay while they eat with the bit in their mouth. There's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a herd of horses. You have the alpha, and then it goes all the way down a pecking order. And it's really hard to try and tell them that this is done this way because it's better for the horse, where they do it here in Japan because it's better and easier for the people. You know, I was trying to help out as much as I could and try and take care of the horses as much as I could. But again, every day, you know, I'd hear from the horses, and the energy that the horses would give off would be a lot of stress for me. But I could kind of deal with it. And then it came time where my husband and I were going to go to America for a month's visit. And then we arrived in America, and then 2 days later, or the day after we arrived, 2 days after we arrived, the big earthquake happened. So we completely missed that, thank God. But the big earthquake happened, and our month visit turned into 3 months, because there was no way I was coming back to Japan because it was just so unstable. And the Japanese media was pretty much lying to the whole entire country, saying everything was fine when it wasn't, and everybody knew it wasn't. But so we ended up staying in America for 3 months, and I kept in some contact with the barn, telling them about what was going on, and then I would send emails, and I never heard anything from them. And I still haven't heard anything from them, and now I'm back in Japan, and too much time has passed, and I'm not going to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm back in Japan. I've tried sending you emails, but no one's replied. So I just was like, whatever. But I can't go back to that situation anyways because of the cruelty that I witness with the horses. Even though it's not physical abuse, it's mentally and emotional abuse for the horses. But anyway, so I can't do anything with horses here in Japan. So I'm really like, ugh, about that. So anytime I want to do something with horses, when I go back to America, it's like I'm riding every day. I want to ride every day, and I work with horses as much as I can while I'm there. But so that's the whole thing with the horses. Now, moving back now to the psychic stuff. I still do all of my psychic stuff, but it's all via the internet, like the video you're watching now, the videos that you might watch if you watch my weekly oracle card readings or my Lecture 101 series. But that's pretty much it. I don't do the Reiki here. I don't do the energy work. I don't do the tarot card readings, the angel readings. And the reason why is because even though I'm fluent in Japanese, there are some things that I'm not fluent in, and those are one of the topics that I'm not familiar with the language. I don't know how to say psychic abilities. I'm sure I've heard it before, but I'm 30 years old. It's not sticking in my head anymore, so I give up with the language stuff. So I don't have the vocabulary or the terminology to have a conversation about metaphysics. If I want to start talking about new energy or psychometry or, any stuff like that, I have no idea. I don't know what to say. I don't know the words. So I've been trying to find either Japanese people who are native or speak pretty much fluent English in metaphysical stuff, who are like-minded people, or I'm looking for other foreigners or native English-speaking people who are like-minded as well. And I just have not found them in Japan. And even with the ghost hunting, I'd love to do paranormal investigations here in Japan. But, I've looked online, and my husband has looked online, and the groups that we find or the people that we find are the type of people that just pick up a flashlight at 12 in the morning. They go to some sort of supposedly known haunted location. They mess around, and then when they see something like a shadow or they hear something or a cat crossing the road or whatever, they scream and they run away. And that's not me. That will never be me. You'll never see a YouTube video of me going, "Ah, ghost," and running down the mountain, basically. So when I was in America, I was very legit about very legit and sincere about paranormal research, and I'm all about debunking, proving that there is spirits and ghosts out there, as well as giving the homeowner or whomever's suffering from spirits being attached to them peace of mind, and crossing over any spirits that are willing and wanting to cross over, as well as clearing the earthbound spirits that are attached to people and homes. And that's what I'm all about, and I have not found anybody out there in Japan who is like that. So if you're out there and you're, everything I'm saying, if you're totally agreeing with me and you're speaking fluent English, send me a message, because I'd love to get together with you guys and maybe start something, or at least be able to talk to somebody about this stuff, because I have no friends here that, are interested in paranormal, are interested in metaphysics, or that believe in this stuff, or, even have the vocabulary to actually speak about this stuff. So if you're out there, give me a call or send me a message. I'd really like to, make some friends here about that. Excuse me. And now this is where I'm tying into the previous video that I made about the Doreen Virtue workshop experience that happened in Tokyo, Japan. So I had signed up for Doreen Virtue's workshop. She was going to be here last Saturday, which was the 14th, and she was doing an all-day workshop. And one of the reasons why I wanted to attend this workshop is not only because, to meet Doreen and to have a wonderful lecture, and to learn more stuff, but also I wanted to meet other foreigners. I wanted to meet other people who are like-minded, like me, who are psychic, who do this stuff, and, network and just make friends. And, she wasn't able to come to Japan because of the plane incident, and probably because of the energy that was around and about in Japan. I had a terrible time. I had a horrific experience, and completely just gave me no hope in finding anybody out there who is legitimately, like-minded and, filled with love. So that is the main reason, though, why I wanted to go to this lecture, to meet people. And the people that I did meet, I was actually appalled by and ashamed to be in the same room with them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look at that video. I believe I called it Doreen Virtue's Workshop Experience in Japan. But it is a negative video, so if you're very susceptible empathically to energy and all that, block yourself or clear yourself before and after you watch the video, because it is a down video. It's a negative video. But yeah, so that is everybody. That is a little bit about me. That's about why I'm in Japan. And if you watch the Doreen Virtue workshop experience video, you'll understand why I'm not supposed to be in Japan. And the last thing I want to end with, again, it's like 30 minutes now. The last thing I wanted to end with is to tell you guys what my life purpose is. And I have 2 life purposes, and both of them are going to happen. And I'm supposed to do both of them, but not in Japan. It's impossible for me to do them in Japan. One life purpose of mine is to work with horses, to have my own stable. Be an owner of my own stable, and I'm just talking about like a 10, 13 stall barn where I have my horses as well as clients and my friends' horses, and I take care of them. So that is one of my dreams and my life purpose. And my second life purpose is to do the light work stuff, to do the paranormal stuff. This is who I am. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And again, I can't do any of that in Japan. I can't do anything with the horses in Japan. Even to even think of having my own stable in Japan is unrealistic because of I would probably be subjecting the horses to the same the same stuff that they're going through right now. I need land. I need feed. I need good feed and everything. So the horse thing in Japan is no, it's not going to happen. It's not supposed to happen. And then the psychic stuff is no, unless I have like a translator next to me the whole entire time, it's not going to happen. And I'm not going to go out and pay for a translator to be by my side 24 hours a day. Excuse me. So that's that with my life purposes. So in 3 to 4 years, when Masa and I go back to America, I'll be able to start things going again. But right now, as you guys can imagine, it's so hard for me to be in Japan right now. And the things that I deal with on a daily basis is very, very hard, which is going to lead me to my next thing for the closing part of my video. I've been thinking about doing videos, not as light worker Kuri, the happy-go-lucky, all right, here we go, love energy. I've been thinking about doing videos about the pros and the cons of Japan, about living in Japan. And I'm talking about anywhere from Japanese people to fashion to just anything about living in Japan. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth with this idea. I don't know if I really want to do it or not, but I'm asking you guys to make that decision for me. If anybody would like to hear about what it's like for a foreign female in her 30s, I'm 30 years old, so I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm gonna give it to you in my perception. So it's going to be a lot different than any teenager coming to Japan for a visit. I want to I've been thinking about doing the video about good and bad things about Japan and being very real about it. So if I'm doing a con, it's going to be about the cons, and if it's a positive video, it's only going to be about positive stuff. So it's going to have both of the spectrums in there about negative and positive energy. But if you guys, want to hear about what it's like to actually live life in Japan as an adult and as a foreign female, I'd be happy to share some of the videos with you. So, and there's a lot of pros and cons to this country and culture, just as much as there's pros and cons to every country and every culture. Everybody, we all have that negative aspect within each culture and each country. So it's not just I'm saying Japan is terrible, terrible, terrible. Like I said, it's everywhere. But if you're interested to kind of know about what it's like to experience some of the things, and I'm talking about anywhere from, like I said before, from fashion, being a vegan in Japan, the spirituality, horses, if you want stuff in detail, pros and cons, I'm thinking about doing those videos. But I want you guys to tell me if they should be done or not. If you really want to know. I don't want to just do videos, put them out there, and then have people not look at them. But anyway, so let me know if you guys think that that's a good idea and if you're actually interested to find out about life in Japan. So I guess that's it. And if you guys have any subjects that you want me to tell you about, so if you are like interested about, well, tell me about religion in Japan. I'll tell you the pros and the cons about religious aspects. Even if I don't know them, I will go out and I will find information for you guys. So it can be anything, any topic, because believe me, I'm sure I have experienced it here in Japan. So go ahead and either send me a message on the YouTube video or my YouTube channel, or you can send me a message on my Facebook page as well. And if you guys haven't liked my Facebook page yet, just go to facebook.com/lightworkerkuri and just like the page and then send me a message. And I will be sure to write back to you guys or make a video about what you guys want. All right, so that is it. I'm sorry the video is a little bit long, but I wanted to explain all of this in detail to you. I hope it wasn't too crazy. I will see you all soon. I send you all love, light, and lots of energy, good energy, and healing energy. All right, see you later. Namaste.